5 shocking facts about passport strange rules. You won't believe no. 3. Have you ever heard about passports? Maybe you've even had one yourself. It's like a book that allows you to travel from one country to another. But did you know there are some weird rules you need to follow if you want to use one? Some people would do anything to get a passport, while others will break any rule to keep theirs. Here are 5 shocking facts about passport strange rules you won't believe. 5. Only rich people can have them. Imagine living in a time where traveling is restricted. If you weren't born into the right family, it would be impossible for you to travel outside your country. That may sound crazy now, but it was the case just over 100 years ago. In 1920, passports were introduced to replace complicated and sometimes dangerous border crossing procedures, but they weren't available for everyone. The first passports were only available to diplomats and government officials, and the common people couldn't get one until decades later. So if you were born in the wrong family back then, you wouldn't be able to travel even if you wanted to. How messed up is that? Now, 4. There is a secret passport. Now, what if we told you there was a special passport that anyone could use to sneak into any country? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, it's not. There is a special passport called the service passport. This is a diplomatic passport issued to employees of international organizations such as the United Nations. They don't have a country, so they use service passports to enter any nation without a visa. This means they can go anywhere in the world without telling anyone who they are or why they were going there. The catch is you must be working for a big organization like the UN to get one of these passports. Otherwise, there's no way for regular people to get them. 3. Passports are not safe. Did you know that once upon a time stolen passports were a dime a dozen? Back in the day, people could steal passports and use them to get into other countries. They would sell them to unsuspecting tourists who didn't realize they were being scammed. Even worse, criminals would use stolen passports to commit crimes and then disappear before anyone could catch them. But thankfully, those days are long gone. Nowadays, there are lots of security features in place to make sure that only real travelers can use passports. For example, there are special machines that check if a passport is fake or not. And if you try to use a stolen passport, you'll be in serious trouble. 2. You can't keep it forever. Imagine having a passport that never expires. You can travel wherever you want whenever you want. Sounds pretty cool, right? Well, actually, it's not. There are a few countries whose passports never expire, but that doesn't mean you can keep them forever. In fact, most countries take away your passport when you break the rules. Let's say you're traveling in another country and you get arrested for breaking their laws. In that case, you can say goodbye to your passport. The local police will confiscate it and send it back to your home country. Once your home country gets it, they'll decide whether or not to give it back to you. And if they don't, you'll never get to see your passport again. 1. You need to follow these exact rules. What happens if you accidentally rip your passport? Or what if someone steals it? These are all things you should avoid if you plan to travel anytime soon. Because if any of these things happen to you, you'll need to follow some strict rules. First, if your passport gets damaged, you need to fix it immediately. You can't board a plane without a valid passport, so don't risk being stranded somewhere else because of a ripped passport. Second, if someone steals your passport, you need to report it right away. And if you're lucky enough to get it back, you need to go through the same process. Finally, when you're done traveling, you must return your passport to the embassy. If you don't, you could be fined or even put in jail. So remember, if you want to travel the world, you better follow these rules. Now let's move on to some honorable mentions. You can't get rid of it. When you're done with your travels, you can't just throw your passport away. It is sensitive information in it that could be used to steal your identity. So you need to return it to the embassy where it belongs. You can't write on it. If you want to change something in your passport, like your name or address, you need to go through the proper channels to do it. You can't just write it yourself. It's against the law. If you try to make changes to your passport yourself, you could be charged with a crime. That's why it's important to follow the rules and make any changes through the proper channels. It's illegal to take photos of it. If you want to show off your passport on social media, think again. It's illegal to take photos of certain parts of your passport, like the chip or the barcode. If you do, you could be fined or even go to jail. So be careful and follow the rules if you want to stay out of trouble. It's hard to get one if you have a criminal record. If you've been convicted of a serious crime, you might not be able to get a passport. That's because the government wants to make sure that dangerous criminals aren't able to travel freely. So if you have a criminal record, you'll need to follow some extra steps to get a passport. What if we told you there's more than one? If you're planning to travel a lot, you might be tempted to get multiple passports. But did you know it's actually illegal to have more than one passport? That's because the government wants to make sure that people aren't trying to hide their identity. So if you have more than one passport, you could get into serious trouble. They could be taken away from you if you're caught. Breaking the law in another country, you could lose your passport. That is because the local police have the power to take away your passport if they think you're a danger to the public. So if you're planning to travel, make sure to be a good tourist and follow the laws of the country you're visiting. Can you believe these rules? Now that you know all these rules, can you believe that? Some of them might seem unfair, but they're in place to keep everyone safe. So next time you plan to travel, make sure to follow these rules and have a great time. And now it's time for the big question. Which rule surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Was it the fact that passports used to be super expensive? Or maybe you were shocked to learn that you can't just throw your passport away when you're done with it. Whatever the case, we hope you learned something new and interesting. But our journey through history doesn't end here. If you want to keep exploring the past and discovering hidden heroes, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.